Hey, it's Vanessa, and welcome to a new topic. This one is on uncreating your reality. So often we hear the exact opposite of that. We hear create your reality. It's sort of I would say, the modern day mantra that can turn into what feels like a lot of pressure around this concept of um, creating what we want to experience. It sounds very simple on the surface, but indeed, there are many steps to the process of creating your reality. But in this particular share, I'm going to talk about this concept of uncreating your reality. I'll go into more details around what that means and what you can consider and how you can work with the energies of uncreating your reality. Before I get into the details of that, I would love to invite you to subscribe, click to get notifications, share with your friends, comment, all that good social media stuff so this gets out to more people. Really do appreciate that. And you for being here, whether you are new to me or a returning part of my online community. Your presence is appreciated. And anything else I want to share with you? Um, Bit about me. If you do not know my background, I have been in the field of energy psychology for the past 20 plus years and have just always been energetically sensitive my entire life and needed to learn how to how to navigate energy, to be quite frank, because for me, energy shows up in multiple ways. It is just as real, actually more real than physical reality to me. So I see, hear, feel like on multiple levels. And uh, as I learned how to work with that through a variety of different mentors and just my own willingness to explore the realm of energy, I noticed that I had a desire and also gift for being able to articulate the energies that are moving through, whether they are the energy dynamics that you have interpersonally, or they are the larger collective energetics that are kind of underlying and driving the behavior of a collective group. So I love to share about those topics with you. I do have an energy guide program, two tracks, one for empaths. So those of you that are sensitive to energy and want to make sense of why you're so sensitive and how to best work with it. And then also the certification track, which is for those of you that you may or may not already be in the transformational field work-wise, but you want to be in it, or you want to expand whatever it is that you are currently doing by becoming a certified energy guide so you can help facilitate that transformation for others via the lens of energy. So just go to my website, vasmith.com/energy-guide to learn more. Okay, so let's get started. Let's talk about uncreating your reality. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this topic to the forefront is because I want to alter your perspective. I want to expand the way that you think about creating your experience of life and whatever it is on the path ahead for you. I think, again, or at least I've seen and also experienced myself, how kind of, I want to say, warped and distorted we can get with putting pressure on ourselves to create reality, especially if you are that you're in kind of my soul crew. You're here for a reason. You're here to shift the paradigm. We can be a little like mission driven and can sometimes get bent out of shape around, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it fast enough? Can I really change my life? What exactly am I responsible for here? Right? Like all these different questions swirling around for us energetically, actually, as we take the steps to create our reality. So, in a nutshell, as you may well know, but I'd like to always put my spin on it. Creating your reality is something that we are always in the process of doing. Everything that we've experienced in our lives, we had a role in the creation of that. Whether you're looking at it as solely a human perspective and you're thinking, okay, it's based on the action that I've taken and the direction that I chose to go in. Yes, yes, yes. From a soul perspective, in my understanding, I always like to stay humble and be open to being, wrong, or, have an expanded understanding around it. But in my understanding, we wrote our path for our lives. And so we are truly, um, at the helm of the script and the creation of what we experience. And when you are in awareness and in alignment with that, you can then take more of, I would say, like a leadership role in your own life, as being self-responsible around the choices that you make, because indeed it does create what you experience. That's just a little spiel about creating your reality. To move into this concept of uncreating your reality, I want to first share with you where this idea first came to light for me. And it was, I would say, around April, actually, of 2023. I had a conversation with one of my mentors, colleagues, friends that I, have a lot of regard for. And I was having a session. I was the client, which I think it's really important, as a facilitator who is a mentor for clients, to also be in the position of client as well, because there's so much that we really can learn from each other. And I was talking with her about a project that I wanted to create. It had dropped in, I want to say originally in like 2019, 2020, sat on it. Then in 2021, I think that's when I might have bought the website for it. And then I did a, first sort of initial mock up of the website, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So then I packed it away and sat on it again. And so this is like 4 years later. And, visions, they're really the energy architecture for the future. It's like, I really strongly sense that when we get a vision, we're meant to bring it through. And that doesn't necessarily mean the creation of it. It could simply mean the sharing of it, right? It's like a passing of the baton. You get a vision, you share it out there. And sometimes it serves as a connection point with you and other people. Sometimes it serves as a passing of the baton, like you shared, and then it activates something in somebody else who then goes out and creates that in the world. Sometimes it brings in collaborators and you create whatever that vision is from a collaborative point of view. And I would say oftentimes the purpose behind visions is that they breed camaraderie, right? Like there's a sense of a real connection with other people because we're all tapping into similar visions of what we perceive can be possible for the future. Like it's because they really are already in the energetic space. They're the energy template, they're the energy architecture. And when more and more of us speak what we perceive, that helps bring them into the physical realm of reality. So as I was sharing with her, and I will actually share her name because I really admire her work and I support you in following and connecting with her. Her name is Malada. She's a astrologer and plus plus plus, but her like incredible wheelhouse is in the energies of astrology, and that yeah, her knowledge and wisdom base is like always, it blows me away. I always learn something new from her, and I end up referring a ton of people her way. So I'll put a link to her website in the text description of this, so if you feel the call to get in contact with her, just tell her I sent you. And anyway, in this conversation, I was going on and on about how, I, well, Well, basically, I was giving a lot of excuses as to why I couldn't do this project now. And they were all legitimate excuses. Well, actually, that's not true. Some of them were BS. Some of them was just like me being utterly resistant to doing the work, and me being in a habitual and or trauma response to being dedicated, disciplined, committed to bringing this through. And uh, I believe how it played out is she had asked me, where are you at with creating this? And it's kind of, like a perfect time to bring this forward. And then it like outpoured from my mouth these, stories, excuses, blah, resistance, blah. And then she stopped me in my tracks where she said, you can always uncreate it. You can uncreate that reality. You can always not do it. And I don't know about you, but I feel very, what's the word, assured, clear. Didn't always. I had to earn, I had to work for my clarity and confidence. It took a lot of inner alchemical fires, transformation, deep transformation that I feel is going to be a theme throughout my entire life existence, and that I have now surrendered to. Um, and yeah, so for me, there's a sense of destiny with the things that I feel that I'm here to do. And so when an idea drops in, I know I'm like, I am supposed to do this. I am supposed to bring this forward. And then it's just a matter, like, my job is really just trying to appropriately manage my time and my resources wisely, so I can bring through the creations that are dropping in. But I didn't want to, and I was being very stubborn about it. And so when she suggested that I uncreate the reality, it stopped me in my tracks, and it also offended me. Not offended. I wasn't offended at her for suggesting it. I was more offended, like, at myself for the level of resistance that I was holding towards the creation of, well, it's of New Earth Collab, which you may have heard me talk about before. And as you may know, it has been created, it is up, it is live, it is a thing. It's a community, collaboration community for transformational businesses who want to step out of lone wolf mode and build their businesses in community. These are businesses that they know they're here to be part of this paradigm shift. And there was a sense energetically of urgency behind it. Urgency, and I was offended at myself. I almost felt like I was disrespecting God or the universe to uncreate it, to take a gift of a vision that had come through for me. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I have an idea for a community. It was like, I have a file folder filled with like notes of all the things about it and everything I want to talk about transformational businesses for, and exactly what I would say in my marketing. And like, I mean, like, it was the full comprehensive download. And I was just like, no. And there was something that brought me the way that, the simplicity of the suggestion brought me to a place of surrender and acknowledgement and reconnection with God and the universe and my path, to think like, oh, wait, it's not destined. I have a choice here as to how I'm going to move forward with this. And it's like, those things logically, them logically. And yet, the level of resistance that humans create. So, I at that time decided I have to move with this. And so I really just got to work, like 4 to 6 weeks of just website creation and the platform creation, and, like, really put everything that I could take out of me into the creation of this. And I shared a little bit of my process around this in earlier shares. about it. I'll put a link to those. I actually don't remember what I shared at the time, but I'm sure it was interesting. At least it might be interesting to me to look back. Hopefully, it's interesting to you too. So I got to work, did the thing, put it out there, and then my like sort of mid-June, mid-July, my world just kind of uh I don't want to say imploded. That seems a little dramatic, but let's just say that there were a lot of my own personal vitality pieces, my own personal and professional boundaries that needed to be cleaned up, um, a real like clarity and honoring of standards for new connections with people. Like it was just, I got turned inside out. Some of you may have been following my, recent shares on that experience, but I have now been to the dentist 9 times. I had a broken tooth that had gotten infected, and it was like really impacting in massive ways that I didn't realize because your teeth are connected to your meridians, right? And so that was like a huge um, yeah, it was huge, huge. I have one more appointment to go. I hope at least. I hope that we're done. But it's been a ride. And so I think of this time that had I not jumped on the opportunity to create, it's like that. What do I want to say to you? The timing, trust the timing around the way that you create and uncreate your reality. The timing piece is huge. How much time do you put something off, or do you spin in resistance? How much time do you spend getting wrapped up in expectations instead of simply just doing the work, and becoming consistent around the work? The timing of her message to me and my intuitive hit to reach out to her. This is why I always encourage you, if you have an intuition for something, to trust that and to follow through with that. That is, I will honestly say, like in over 20 years of working with clients in, one-on-one or as in groups, leading groups, whatever the capacity, I would say the majority, probably like 80 to 90%, maybe even more, they all come to me at a very specific time in their lives when they are ready to make a significant shift in their perspective, in their circumstances, in their energy, in whatever. And they always find me somehow via some sort of synchronistic circumstance, like they got referred by a friend of theirs at a perfect time when they start talking about a conversation that was like meaningful to them or something, or I pop up on their feed and they've never seen me before and they just feel very compelled to reach out. So there's always a level of sort of synchronistic timing around those that those that partake in the offerings that I have. And so that's been like actually a really special component to the unfolding of my own business. And honestly, it's been great personally, like for my personal life and my personal world, but like everybody I work with is like personally meaningful to me. Like the vibe that you're getting from me is genuine. Like to be in integrity is super important to me. I couldn't always like show up like this because I just had some trauma pieces. So I had to work through around being seen and being uh safe to just be myself out in the world. But now I feel like I'm pretty solid, at least at this stage of the game for this level that I'm playing at. Um, so anyway, I'm sharing all of this with you because the timing was really key in the creation and the uncreation of the reality. And so I want you to start looking, like I would love to invite you to start looking at your life from a timing perspective, a synchronicity perspective, the idea or the intuition or the vision that's been popping in repeatedly perspective. To have that conversation with Malata in April and just have this very clear And I hadn't had a session with her for a couple years, right? Like it was just, I was like, need to talk to Mulata. And then, the the way the phrasing of the uncreating of the reality and what that evoked in me really lit a fire under my ass to get on it, and then to have the energetic of getting on it and looking at where else in my life do I need to kind of get on it, like how can this also be a metaphor, um, or a metaphor and a template for these other areas that I've been in resistance to. And so it was a very powerful exchange. And she may not actually not even remember saying this to me. I don't know, but it was very meaningful for me. And that's sometimes how these exchanges work. The impact that just a simple phrase. So I again sharing that with you because you may have phrases that drop in for you when you interact with somebody and then you go, oh no, you start to write it and then you pull back and you question yourself, or you think you're going to reach out to someone and then you're like, oh no, I'll do it later. No, 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 no. Do it now. Like do it when it comes. Like trust in the timing of that, and really like discipline yourself to follow through. So I think about that because I really got to work that 6 weeks after I spoke with her. And then soon after that, I had to step back. I love my work. It took me forever to what felt like forever to figure out, and get the clarity and really allow myself the healing and the confidence that comes with tending to your own healing and the integration of whatever you've been through to be able to do the things that I've always envisioned, right? And so I had to step back from everything that I love to really tend to my vitality so I can be a more vital player in the game of what is currently going on in the world in my unique contribution and version of that. And I think had had I had that had I not followed through with her and had a conversation in April, had I continued to be dedicated to uncreating my reality, this gift of a vision that had popped through 4 years prior, um, I wouldn't have been able to create what I have created. Like now I stand back and I look and I'm like, I have no idea how I was able to pull that through. And I'm so glad because I wouldn't have been able to do it with the same clarity, with the same framework, with all the same pieces and all the same players in a way that I was able to do it at that particular stage. So again, the timing of when things are happening, it's like that's when you have your contracts, your agreements, spiritually speaking, with the other people that are here to help you actualize whatever it is. And so I'm really grateful that like I got out of my own way to bring it into fruition and to not be in that space of uncreating the reality. Because had I done that, like, yeah, I'm just now re-emerging. I'm just now getting back into the game from a different energy signature, a different timeline, a different level of vitality. And my mind isn't necessarily on the creation or the build that that like I can't even wrap my mind around trying to do what I did at that particular point in time. But now it's there and it's ready for the next level of sharing. And so let's talk about this concept. That was, kind of my long story around uncreating your reality and really looking at what you feel compelled to do and what you're currently doing to uncreate that option. It's like we're so used to having the vision or the desire or the goal, and we spend a lot more time uncreating it with our resistance, with our lack of focus, with our lack of consistency and discipline, with our lack of commitment. right? And again, you got to remember, we live in a state of abundance. So even if you're experiencing lack in your life, you're probably experiencing a lot of lack, an abundance of lack. And so it all points back to how you're choosing to operate in the world, how you're choosing to perceive what's happening, how you're choosing to proceed and take action. It's always going to create a particular outcome. Sometimes that outcome is uncreating the reality that you are designed for, that your purpose is, that you are here for. This is about bringing the dream into fruition and making a conscious choice to realize that you are quite literally uncreating what it is that you desire by the way that you are interacting with it, by the tone of the relationship that you have with it, by the stories that you tell about it. So some questions to reflect upon for you is, how long have you been holding the vision, the desire, the goal, the intention? What do you tell yourself about it? Where is your energy invested when it comes to whatever that vision or that dream is? Are you uncreating it? It kind of stops me in my tracks when I think of it from that perspective, and it really creates a very clear division, well, not division, but a separation from this concept of creating the pressure around creating your reality. It's like, oh God, I've got so many things to create. It's like, well, hold up. What am I doing in this moment? And is it working to uncreate that which I really desire? And sometimes just if you massage the words just a little bit, you'll see things from a totally different perspective. And that is the game. It's a consciousness game, it's an energy game, and it's a paradigm shift game. The paradigm shift that is happening right now includes the energetics. Those are definitely changing, and the systems and the structures, right? So on the external model, we can see all the things that are breaking down. And from a relational perspective, that is the paradigm shift we're in. We are learning how to be in relationship with ourselves, with each other, and with the environment in a different kind of way. And it all starts with you. You are the paradigm shift. The paradigm shift comes through you. We are here to birth it. We are here to midwife it, doula it, community it, all those pieces, right? I hold that's a sacred responsibility. And responsibility requires us to level up how we show up, to be embodied, to be grounded, to be, clear on our own energy. Got to clean up the energy, you got to clean up the energy if you don't want to uncreate the reality that you are here to bring through. So that's what I have for you today over the concept of uncreating your reality. I would love to hear from you what your experience of creating your reality and uncreating your reality. Like, where are you at in that game of where you put your point of focus, where you decide to take action, where you are in resistance or where you are surrendering to, and how you allow that energy to move through you and out into the world. That's the conversation I wanted to start today. Thanks so much for listening. And please do subscribe, comment, click to get notifications, share with your friends, all the good social media stuff to get this out to more people. And I look forward to talking with you again soon. If you do have a topic that you would like me to share about or look at from an energetic perspective, please do let me know. I'm actually super interested. I have a list of all these topics I want to share about. And they are always going to be around the paradigm shift, navigating the energy, your purpose, work, and role within it all, and as the foundational piece, your vitality, because you are a vital player in this game. And that is one way to increase your quality of life and break the current system. to be a rebel, like invest in your health and your well-being. So um, loving the energy that came through me today to share with you. May it also vibe you up and serve you well from this moment forward. Take care and thanks so much for watching.